Peace, family, and welcome to this edition of the Reading and Writing in the Dark podcast. This is Ayapo Yapa. I am the author of Melanin, a novel that's available on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I'm also the author of the Keeping It a Buck series that's available on Amazon, and it is a series of 10 short stories. They're in the Twilight Zone or Outer Limits kind of a genre, and they're short reads and very enjoyable, and most of all they feature Black us. I also have on Kindle Vella Surviving the Worst, and that is an episodic story, and you can read that on Kindle Vella, and the first 3 episodes are always free. So having said all that, today I have a very, 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 very special guest. I've been looking forward to interviewing this guest for a long time. And so without any further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others my beautiful wife, Angela Riley. She is the author of I DeClaire Love, the Love X TamuTamu agency. She is also the author of 365 Dates. That is 365, not spelled out. It's the numbers 365, like the days of the year. Dates. And those are all 3 on Kindle Vella. And she is finally the author of the book, Affirming Self-Love. And so now, with no further ado, I present to you Angela Riley.
Yes. The book is actually called Following the Happy. Mm-hmm. The series will be called Affirming Self-Love. So the next book in the series should be out soon. And it is not a graphic novel, but a graphic self-help book. So it's sort of in the genre of graphic novels in a way, but not really.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So I have some questions for you, and I would not let you see the questions. It doesn't matter that you're married. And I'm very proud of that, by the way. But here's your first question.
If you were proud of it, you would have said, before you said you're the author, you would have said, I am the husband of Angela Riley. And then gone into the author of Melanin and the author of And What of the Cardinal.
If you say so.
Yeah, you revealed your priorities.
No, I didn't. No, I opened this series the same way. So anyway, anyway, how long have you been writing?
Ooh, that's a good question. How long have I been writing? Well, as a student, of course, I've been writing for as long as I've been in school. And I have written essays. I remember writing an essay in college called A Very Scary, Hairy Tale. And it was about how I transitioned into natural hair. And I remember looking at that thing 2 years later and just being like, oh my gosh, this is so brilliant. And I wish I had a copy of it now. Other than that, I think that might have been the first thing that I sort of wrote independently of my own volition that wasn't an assignment from anyone else. Mm-hmm. Maybe. But yeah.
Okay.
And I was in college probably about 30 years ago. So let's say 30 years.
Okay.
In 93 I graduated,
So that actually made me think of something that's not on my question list, but that you mentioned some time ago was the sense of accomplishment that you felt when you finished your dissertation.
Yeah, it wasn't a dissertation. In order to graduate from my college, I had to do a research paper, and that paper ended up being about 70, 80 pages long, and I did it on students of color at predominantly white institutions, and I definitely felt a sense of accomplishment with that. It was a couple-year project, but what's interesting about the sense of accomplishment that I felt when I graduated from college and had to do that major paper is that in order to graduate from high school, I had to do a major paper, and it was like 50 pages long, which is not a small task. Right. But I don't remember having the same sense of accomplishment with that. Mm-hmm. And I did that on Malcolm X and the Black Muslims in Detroit. So, but I don't remember having that same sense of excitement and when I finished my piece in college in order to graduate. I just had this feeling of I can do anything, which is interesting to me.
I remember you telling me that. And that's that. So when you finished your first story, at least your first story in Kindle, which was I DeClaire Love, and that I understand that's not the completed story, but it is finished on Vella. Did you feel a sense of accomplishment there?
No, not exactly. Because it's the beginning of a larger piece. I think that there's associated with that piece is the larger piece, which is not finished. So I think that in order for me to feel a sense of accomplishment with that, I would probably have to finish the larger piece. It's so loud. There's so many trucks and stuff going by.
It should be all right. It's always like this.
Okay.
And I usually apologize in advance because we don't have a fancy soundproof studio or anything. We just are plain folk and we do what we do. So anyway.
But since I started working on the piece I DeClaire Love, and the main character's name is DeClaire, spelled like Claire, Clair, but uppercase D, lowercase e, uppercase C, lowercase Laire, I DeClaire Love. But since I wrote that piece, I started doing some research on writing romance novels, because I've always loved romance, like rom-coms, like romantic comedies. And before that, some of the first voracious reading that I did was of romance novels. I read probably a romance novel every other day when I was a kid, when I started really getting into it. And I probably kept reading them until I just got tired of, if I have to hear about another white woman being described, like I just wanted to see some stuff with some black folks in it. And so I think that I just kind of felt like it didn't occur to me. I just felt like that's how romance novels were. They always start white people.
Well, I feel like that dovetails into my next question, which is, what made you start writing? And I think you actually touched upon it already.
So what's the answer according to what I've touched upon?
You're the one being interviewed, but the answer is that you saw, I'll put it like this, there was something that you wanted to see and you didn't see it, so you're like, okay, well, I'll write it.
I think that's definitely...
Darn it, I'll write it.
I think it's Toni Morrison who said, if there's something that you want to, this is not an exact quote, but something to the effect of, if there's something that you want to read that's not out there, you're supposed to write it. And I remember thinking, but that didn't make me think, I want to be a writer. And I remember the first time when I read the Blanche White series, I can't remember the author's name, but the main character is Blanche White. And it's like a little series of mysteries, like murder mysteries, where this woman is solving these murder mysteries, and the main character is a black woman. And she just seemed like someone who I liked, someone who I would want to, and that was just like very enjoyable to me. But I don't think I thought about writing then. Maybe after college, when I was trying to find a way to sustain myself, I remember trying to pitch to my friend, we could write this book. We should write this book together about authority and being an author, and we can be authors too. We don't just have to be readers. And I wasn't able to sell her on co-writing the book for me, and co-writing the book with me. And I didn't have the wherewithal to write it on my own. But I think that then I was kind of processing it as a way of, in alignment with my work in terms of supporting people and being their best selves and discovering their voice and honoring their voice and celebrating their voice. I think I was thinking about it more like that than fiction.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good answer.
Do I get 10 stars, 5 stars, 3 stars?
You get 4.5 stars.
Thank you.
So, who is your favorite writer? I already know.
Who is it?
Walter Mosley.
Yeah, absolutely.
See,
no, actually, I don't know if Walter Mosley.
When I ask you a question,
I don't know if Walter. I do really appreciate the work of Walter Mosley, but I think that you might be my favorite writer. I think that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that you're like a really, really strong storyteller. You have really interesting ideas. I really like the way that, like, in the same way that I felt when I was reading Blanche White, the character, like I felt like she's someone who I liked, who could be my friend. Mm-hmm. And when I read Walter Mosley, a lot of times I really like his characters in terms of I appreciate their humanity. But the work you do, I guess from a pro-black perspective or from my belief system, it seems like, I find it very affirming in that way, I guess. Do I have any other?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Why are you saying that?
I didn't expect that. I genuinely didn't. So let me ask you this question, and not from storyideas.com. Where do you get your story ideas?
I guess just things that seem interesting to me. Mm-hmm. So, well, it depends. Like one story idea that I have is called 12 Houses, and it is astrological, but it's like kind of a place. So it's like 12 houses as an astrological, and it's also 12 houses as in these black folks end up becoming superheroes, mm-hmm. and the activation into their superhero-ness is not as individuals, but as collective, mm-hmm. as a collective. Mm-hmm. Each house activates collectively when the people reach a certain level of development. And that idea came when I used to watch this television show called Heroes. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I want to see the system of white supremacy end. I want some black people to come and just, end the system of white supremacy. So I would like to see that story. So that was that story. Hush Your Mouth is another story idea I have. And I read about this black woman's secret society that was coming out of being secret because they were about to go out of existence. They didn't have new members. They didn't have fresh blood. So they were coming out of their secrecy in order to promote and try to get new members. And I just thought it was interesting that there could be organizations. And I already know there are secret societies and secret organizations. But so Hush Your Mouth.
So is that where you get your ideas?
I get them from all over the place. That's what I'm just telling you. 12 Houses I got from Heroes. Hush Your Mouth I got from an article that I read.
So I guess that would be my next question is, do you get the ideas from like something you see on nobody watches television anymore, something you see online or read in a magazine or comes across your news feed or on social media? What does that give you ideas? Or something as simple as seeing a hand of spades,
mm-hmm.
A card hand.
They come from all different kinds of places. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair.
Let me see. Oh, Kwanzaa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
It came from hearing people write Christmas stories and wanting to do something that was pro-black. So it depends.
Okay. So when you write, I was going to ask, what's your process? I know that you're fairly new on the scene. Do you have a process? Mm-hmm. And if you do, what's your process?
I feel like I'm starting to develop a process. I think that I have been most productive when I am working from the goal of writing every day. Mm-hmm. So I tend to be goal-oriented and I tend to be accountability-oriented. Mm-hmm. So I think that my goal of writing every day would probably do better in the context of a group of other people who have that same goal or a similar goal. Mm-hmm. I'm really... Yeah, I don't know if it's like competitiveness, but, I like being around people who are working towards something and being a part of that mix. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is with the Kindle Vella series, I had set a goal of doing at least 500 words a day. Mm-hmm. And that was helpful, but I'm goal-oriented and community-oriented. So that is helpful for my process. I think that when I am writing every day, when I am writing regularly, it seems like the ideas flow more easily in terms of the development of the story and where the story is going. Something we discussed earlier is feeling free and comfortable to jump from story to story or area to area in, a project. And that has been helpful to just keep things moving along and not get stagnated and overwhelmed at a certain point of something that I can't handle. I think even like leaving projects, like there are some projects that I'm not currently working on now because I've decided that I need to develop my skills as a writer, and I want to have some finished projects under my belt, because I feel like in terms of storytelling, this simple concept to some of a beginning, a middle, and an end, it seems like, I guess because I'm so character oriented, like, I think that that's something that I haven't really captured. So I don't know if that answered your question in terms of my process.
It did. Do you ever experience the dreaded writer's block?
I think that like what I just said in terms of giving myself the freedom to move from project to project is kind of important, or to leave, so just writing something every day. I had a goal of writing one sentence a day, and it came from another writer, Tanana Dew's husband, Stephen Barnes, one sentence a day. And that was, I think that's kind of like the best thing that I've done in terms of getting over writer's block, because no matter what, I can come up with one sentence.
Right.
I'm never so blocked that I can't come up with one sentence, even if it's a dumb, stupid piece of shit sentence. It's still,
right.
So then you don't have I don't have that, like, and then once I do one sentence, usually I do more, and and I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And when I'm working regularly, I think that I'm less likely to have writer's block, because my brain, even when I'm not writing, my brain is stimulated and thinking about the projects and the stories.
Okay, now, what is your favorite work that you have written?
My favorite work that I have written. I think that Hush Your Mouth, which isn't available, might be one of my favorites. I really like the feeling of it. It's sort of like, it's got like because it's a secret society, I feel like it's captured like this hidden secret thing. So I think that might be my favorite work. Also the Following the Happy and the whole Affirming Self-Love series, I'm really excited about it, because the whole Following the Happy and Following the Happy book is the first book in the series, but I decided to do the series as graphics of each sentence in short essays, and I'm really enjoying that, and I really like the finished products. I love affirmations, and so I really like seeing the affirmations on the page and playing around with the design, and it's very, so yeah, I guess between those two, I guess.
You're turning into quite the designer. This is kind of an aside, but do you like working in Photoshop and InDesign? InDesign is a layout program.
Right.
Those two
I
that you're
abandoned
learning,
InDesign.
for the audience.
Right. I abandoned InDesign for the moment because I'm working with another product. So I do.
Scribus.
No, because I work with Kindle Create. Kindle Create, I put the things from Photoshop into it, and it didn't seem like InDesign would work for that. But yeah, I like learning new things, and so I'm all for learning new things and having more tools to express myself and to explore. So I like it, and I'm looking at things differently now. I'm looking at things in terms of understanding visually how they were laid out, or how I might lay them out in Photoshop, like covers and stuff like that. I noticed that, or movie posters.
Okay, I just asked that. That's not even on my question list. I was just thinking about it because your design work is really coming along. It looks really good.
Thank you.
So, what so far has been the easiest thing for you to write?
I don't know. The following the Happy series is from some blog posts that I did years and years ago, and I would set goals to do a blog post a day. So those are, I don't think they were easy because it was like every day I had to produce something. So I don't know what has been easiest. It feel like it'd be blood, sweat, and tears and hard. That's sometimes fair. It flows out, you know. But yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
What's been the easiest thing for you to write?
No, not want to be an interview here, but
cargo.
Probably no, not cargo. It was. I think it was conviction. Was the easiest for me to write. Because I wrote that in one day because I was mad. So anyway, do you have a plan for specific releases in 2023?
I definitely want to get the Affirming Self-Love. There are going to be 52 or 54 installments. So my goal is by the next year to basically be doing one a week. So I don't know if I'm going to get
ambitious.
Yeah, I think I can get into it, and I'm not sure, but I don't know if I'm going to get them all done next year. But that's definitely one of the things that's on my list. I want to finish the Love by TamuTamu agency episode. Well, like right now, the series that I'm working on is Kendra and Bennett. So I'll definitely want to finish that and, kind of continue building the Love by TamuTamu agency world. And then I have a holiday series that I want to work on. So the first one in that ideally would be coming out in February. So I have the Kwanzaa Clause will be coming out at the end of November, early December. The Black Love Letters of 2023. You asked me about 2023.
Yeah, I guess November's gone. So
yeah. And then Black Love Letters will be coming out in like maybe late January, early February. I'm not sure because that's kind of the first thing. So I'm trying to like make it quick and light and fun and, so, and then there's one more that I want to get out that you said you wanted to talk about how I saw the Boston Marathon, and I'll put that in between the two of those. And that was the piece that I was looking for. I was looking for an idea of something that was very, very black to me.
Right.
And Bidwest is very black to me. And so running a Boston is very black to me. Somebody had posted up on social media, on Twitter, some hand, and it was like, how many books do you think you can get out of it? And I can't figure out how you could get less than all 13.
Right.
Like, unless, I guess you just renege. But anyway.
Right. And to date, that is like the tweet that I sent out that got the most, and I didn't even send out the tweet. I just answered to it and got the biggest response.
The most engagement and interaction.
The most engagement. Yeah, that kind of tripped me out. I'm like, all this important stuff I say. Anyway.
All this important stuff you say. You be saying important stuff, baby?
I think so. But anyway, do you, I should have asked this earlier, but is there a specific audience that you're aiming for? In other words, I understand it's a black audience, but men, women, men and women, where are you aiming?
Yeah, I guess my demographic is probably me, even though I wouldn't want to admit it. But I was just thinking the other day, like Bidwest is probably something that's generational, so younger people might not even understand it, even if, younger black women might not understand what Bidwest is. They might understand spades, but so I guess my main target is me. I'm writing stuff that I enjoy and that I would want to read.
Okay.
So
that's good. Yeah, that's good, and that's fair. What have you learned about writing since you started? In other words, what conceptions did you maybe hold before you started becoming, being a writer? And now it's like, I thought this would be like this, but now it's actually like that in reality, or what,
I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer to that question. So,
Okay, that's all right. Because some people would say, some people might say, I thought that it would be easier to write, or I thought it would be harder to write, or or I thought the ideas would just come like that, or some. And I guess some people go into. I think sometimes people can go into any kind of a situation and have some conception of
notion.
Thank you. That's better terminology.
Preconceived
notion for what's going to happen, and then get there, and the reality is X.
Right.
So, but if you didn't have it, you just didn't have it.
I don't know. I haven't had that experience consciously. Mm-hmm. So nothing that I noticed. So I'll have to take a pass on that.
Okay. So, your husband is a writer.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like being married to another writer?
And I don't know if I consider myself a writer, but I really enjoy. We facilitate a Black writers group, and I really enjoy interacting with other artists. And it's especially nice to be in the house and watch your process and watch how you do things, and to be able to talk to you whenever, for the most part, about challenges that I'm having, because I feel like you're a much stronger storyteller than I am, and I feel like you have a stronger sense of story, conflict, beginning, middle, some concepts that I'm like, so I enjoy that, and I enjoy you're like some steps ahead of me, if there is it's not really
such thing, yeah,
right, but I feel like you finished the book. When I met you, you had Melanin, and you also had the cartooning book, which you haven't finished. But those are the projects I knew of. So it's kind of exciting to see Melanin go from a couple chapters that I read when I didn't know you to a whole book that's out there that people can read. That's an excellent product. And all of the other things that come out. So I enjoy... I like, I feel like we have our own little internal artist colony. Like we're writing, we're editing. I enjoy the camaraderie in this sense that we're building together and supporting each other in this way, and that we have this in common. So it's a pleasure I'm enjoying being married to a fellow writer.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way.
Oh, really?
It's a very synergistic relationship. I love it. I'm so grateful. What advice? This is kind of a generic question I'm asking anyway. What advice would you give to
young
writers entering the field? New writers.
I'm a new writer.
You would know best.
Yeah. I personally think, I know that there's a whole debate in fiction of people who are pantsers versus plotters, people who are just whenever the mood strikes me or however the piece unfolds is how it unfolds, versus people who are more structured and have an outline and maybe have a schedule. And probably because I'm more, even though I'm a very creative person, I think I'm more of a plotter. And so I guess that my advice would be to have a goal. And I think that, even a simple goal of writing a sentence every day sounded very doable to me. And I have probably in the last year, I don't know when I started working on it, but I think that my highest consecutive days in a row of writing a sentence a day are 50. And I've gotten a couple, maybe 2 times up to 30 something days. And then, I have 2 or 3 days here or there. And my real goal is to do at least a year of that. I feel like if I could get a year of that under my belt, I would have something going. And I feel that would be my advice to other people.
Right.
To have that discipline, and to, a sentence a day is doable. And if you fall off, just start again, start again.
Okay.
And your voice is important. Your perspective is important. And it's a beautiful and a wonderful thing to be a Black person. And Black people are beautiful and wonderful. And so honor yourself, honor your family, honor your community, celebrate yourself, celebrate your family, celebrate your community, big up and encourage yourself, your family, and your community, and visualize your work. Use your work as a tool to see and create the future and the reality that befits a beautiful, wonderful you and a beautiful, wonderful people. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that even makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. It makes perfect sense. Okay, and so this is the final question.
Oh, all
right. This is and it's not even actually a question. It's a comment. It's actually a statement from you. Do you have any like parting words, or also would you like to like talk about each of your works, what they're about without spoiling them, just to let people know what works you have out there and where they can get them?
Okay, so I think that basically what I want to do through my work is to celebrate and show Black people winning. Like I like to read stuff where Black people are winning, Black people are happy, Black people are in love, and that's what I want my work to do. That's my intention with my work. So as I said earlier, there is currently available Following the Happy, which is the first in the Affirming Self-Love series. It's affirmations and meditations on being your best self, finding your best self, celebrating your best self, and honoring your best self.
And that's a book.
That is a book. It's a digital book, so it is not available as a paper copy, but it is available digitally. And at the moment, it's only available on Amazon.com.
And how much is it?
Is $3.33, and the series will be called the 333 series. My favorite number is 3, and so that's available. And then the other 3 pieces that are currently available are on Amazon Vella. Amazon Vella is a short, a serialized format, so you get short doses of something. Instead of watching a movie, it's like you watch episodes every week. Instead of having the whole book, you get a little bit at a time. And so that's sort of how the episodes are set up. So I have 3 stories on that platform. The first, or the one, is called The Love by TamuTamu Agency. And the by is an X. So it's the word word love, the capital letter X. And then TamuTamu is one word, TamuTamu Agency. TamuTamu is currently a 91-year-old woman who got married for the first time when she was 71. She has been running a matchmaking agency for 50 years now. And so we go through different couples that she is attempting to match, Black love couples. So we're currently on Kendra and Bennett, episode 11 or something like that with them. So will they get together? Won't they get together? Can she help them? Can she not help them? These people, Kendra and Bennett, are both kind of into perfection and the perfect 10 or whatever. They're kind of got some limitations with that. So that's The Love by TamuTamu Agency. And then there's a piece called 365 Dates. It's the number 365 and then space and the word dates. And it follows along with a woman who, like me, her name is Tamika, my name is Angela, but like me, she set a goal of going on 365 dates. And I decided to write it because in another one of my series, I had mentioned that I had set a goal to go on 365 dates, and a couple people asked me about it. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to explore dating and just kind of like have to, because I loved dating when I was dating. I know a lot of people don't like dating, but actually on the survey that I have going on now, a lot of people are saying that they do like dating. So that kind of surprised me. But it follows Tamika as she goes on 365 dates, and it's from her perspective. Or she doesn't go on 365 dates, but in her goal to go on 365 days, she might go on 365 days. We don't know. It's being written week by week, episode by episode. So That's the second one. So there's the Love by TamuTamu Agency, 365 dates. And then I Declare Love is a completed series. It's 11 episodes. And it's I Declare. And then Declare is spelled like the woman, like Claire, Clair. And our main character's name is DeClaire. Mm-hmm. And then Love. And that one is 11 episodes. The way that Kindle Vella works is that the first 3 episodes of any series that you want to partake in are free. And so you can read the first 3 episodes and kind of decide if you want to go further. If you do decide to go further, you can buy tokens. But you buy tokens and then you can unlock additional episodes. Mm-hmm. So those are the projects that are currently available.
Okay, excellent.
All right. I feel like I was boring you to death. Am I a boring guest?
No, don't say that.
I was just looking at your facial expression. The audience can't see.
I was busy trying to look at that freaking gecko. Oh. You know me and geckos. They're not my favorite. Yeah, he like poked his head out past the curtain and then poked it back as soon as you turn around. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for the interview. I really was looking forward to it. And to all the listeners, I hope that you got something out of it. This has been Ayapo Yapa, and I was interviewing the Black, beautiful, brilliant Angela Riley. And she told you about her books, where you can get them, her stories, where you can get them. And I guess that's about it. So I will talk to you next time. If you're a reader, keep on reading. And if you're a writer, keep on writing. And register for the Reading and Writing in the Dark newsletter on my website, ayapoyapa.com. So I will talk to you next time, and you take care. Peace.
Peace.